You know, as part of efforts to ponder the political activities that led to the dismantling of the federal structure in Cameroon in 1972, some scholars have opined that President Amadou Ahidjo only reluctantly accepted the federal system of government in 1961 to prove some goodwill to southern Cameroonians that they were truly willing to initiate a union with them. This was because southern Cameroonians voted for reunification with former French Cameroon in February 1961 amid promises from Nigeria that if they voted for integration with Nigeria, they would be given a federation. And so in 1961, after overwhelmingly voting for reunification with the Republic of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo had no choice but to adopt a federal system of government which went into effect on the 1st of October 1961. This was to prove to southern Cameroonians that they actually meant business. But some scholars also argue that the federal system being adopted as a system of government in 1961 was it was a way of achieving a middle ground between the confederal system of government that the Southern Cameroon's delegation was proposing at Fumban and the unitary system of government that the French Cameroon government was proposing at Fumban. Since there was confederalism that was coming from West Cameroon or from Southern Cameroons to Fumban, and there was unitarism that was coming from French Cameroon to Fumban, the middle ground was federalism. And so Ahidjo adopted federalism as a compromise between these two polar opposite stances that were adopted by the two delegations that met at Fumban. These scholars were to be vindicated by the actions, the policies, and the events that took place between 1961 and 1972, leading to the referendum of 20th May of 1972. As soon as the federal system of government was put in place, President Amadou Ahidjo began almost immediately to putting in place measures to dismantle it 10 years later. Of course, when it was put in place in 1961, that was 1st October 1961, by 1962, the first ever measure that was to go a long way to remove the federal system of government was put in place, and that was the putting in place of the franc CFA as federal currency in both East and West Cameroon states. In 1963, the KNDP crisis erupted, and Amadou Ahidjo sought an opportunity to ensure that there was a milestone unification of political opinions, which was to lead to ultimate reunification by 1973. And that is why when the KNDP crisis erupted, Amadou Ahidjo stepped in and eventually succeeded to appoint Augustin A.N. Jua as Prime Minister of West Cameroon, as opposed to S.T. Mona. In 1966, Amadou Ahidjo launched his milestone unification of political opinions by dismantling all political parties that existed in Cameroon or in the Federal Republic of Cameroon, and in its place creating what we call the Cameroon National Union. And by this, all political opinions were unified, whether voluntarily or not, they were unified. And by 1968, Amadou Ahidjo was able to dismiss Augustin Ngom-Djua and replace him with S.T. Mona as Prime Minister of West Cameroon. In 1970, Amadou Ahidjo went another step further to dismiss Jongo Foncha as Vice President of the Federal Republic of Cameroon, replacing him with S.T. Mona. And so S.T. Mona cumulatively occupying the position of Prime Minister of West Cameroon State and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. And by 1972, on the 9th of May 1972, Amadou Ahidjo announced to the Federal National Assembly in Yaoundé that he intends to consult Cameroonians to decide whether they would want to continue with the federal system of government or they would want a unitary constitution be implanted. And on 20th May, we had the referendum. So we are saying that scholars who hold the opinion that Amadou Ahidjo only reluctantly accepted the federal constitution in 1961 to lure Southern Cameroonians into the union have some vindications by Amadou Ahidjo's actions, policies, and the events that took place between 1961 and 1972. And this tells the whole story of 20th May, which is now celebrated as our National Day in Cameroon. Thank you very much.